brother Dr. Umat Johnson. Rastafari. Ocho Rios, make some noise! Peace and love, black family. I go by the name of Dr. Umat Johnson. I'm a doctor of psychology and an educator and a Pan-Africanist and a Garveyite. We come here today to honor the greatest black organizer in modern history. Today we come here to honor the most eminent prophet and king of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. When we talk about Garveyism, we have to make sure we're clear about what His Excellency represented. It's one thing to celebrate him. It's another to emulate him. It's one thing to remember Garvey. It's something else to do the work of Marcus Garvey. When we break Garveyism down into the principles that Mr. Garvey stood for, principle number one is that we identify as African people first. African identity is the foundation of Garveyism. That means you are not a Christian who happens to be African. You are an African who happens to be Christian. You are not a Jamaican who happens to be African. You are an African who happens to be a Jamaican. You are not a Muslim who happens to be African. You are an African who happens to be a Muslim. And as Garveyites, we identify with our African heritage more than any religion. We identify with our Africanity more than any language. We identify with our Africanity more than any fraternity or sorority that we belong to. We believe that being African is the most important identity that you carry. And why is that? You can move from Jamaica tomorrow. You can stop going to church next week. You can give up your organizational membership next month. But only God made you African, and that's why being African is the most important for us. Nothing is more important than your race. And you should never let anyone make you think that you have to give up your race in order to be a good member of your religion. Jesus Christ was a powerful man, a son of God, but his lessons only go back 2,000 years. Muhammad ibn Abdullah was a powerful man, a prophet of God, but his lessons only go back 1,500 years. African culture goes back 2 million years. You don't give up your race for religion. Race burns religion at every time. As Garveyites, as revolutionary Pan-African nationalists, we understand that to be African means other people are going to try to act as if they are African. There are people in Jamaica who are not black African, who claim to be African. Well, I'm here to tell you that anyone in Jamaica who is not a black African is an invader or a descendant of an invader. You cannot be Jamaican unless you black African. Stop letting people visit your home and make you think that their home is your home. Whenever you visit someone's house, there's rules that you must abide by to visit their home. Your home is not their home. They are visitors if they need to conduct themselves like visitors. But there's a problem in Jamaica. I see that the Chinese invasion is alive and thriving in Jamaica. I see in Jamaica The East Indian invasion is alive, and the Arab invasion is alive. When I travel Jamaica, I see the hotel chain is owned by the East Indians, and the gas stations are owned by the Arabs, and the neighborhood shops are owned by the Chinese. That's not Garveyism. Marcus Garvey taught that whatever is to be done for African people must be done by African people. It is not to be done by Chinese. It is not to be done by Arab. It is not to be done by East Indian. We can respect them, but they must understand that this is our house first. Furthermore, the government of Jamaica got some questions that got to be answered. The first question I have is, who in the hell gave Chinese permission to make a road from Kingston to Ocho Rios and call it the Beijing Highway? That's disrespectful. Who in the hell made the decision to give the Chinese 1,200 acres of land around the highway so they can put 3 Chinese hotels and come to Jamaica and rob you blind? Your enemy's enemy is not your friend. Your enemy's enemy is not your friend. And Chinese supremacy is no better than white supremacy. The brown man is no better than the white man when it comes to African people. Where were the Chinese when you were in slavery? Where were the Chinese when you were in Jim Crow? All of a sudden in the 21st century, the Chinese are the friends of Jamaica? Go to hell with that nonsense. The Chinese are coming to Jamaica to make Jamaica a colony of China. You can't let that happen. I read in the newspaper the other day that the Chinese have given Jamaica $353 million US multi-investment development loan. So what is the interest rate on that loan, Jamaica? Jamaica had already went into debt to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. So you didn't learn your lesson from the white man. You're going to run to the brown man and go into debt even more than what you suffered at the hands of the white man. That's not Marcus Garvey's dream. And the Chinese say they're going to give $1 million in grants. And the Chinese are going to build an infant school in Kingston and another infant school in Morant Bay. And they're going to bring their own Chinese engineers and their own Chinese workers. And every time the Chinese build something in Jamaica, they don't put the black man to work. They don't put the black woman to work. They don't put the black child to work. How you let them build the highway and bring thousands of Chinese to Jamaica to work when you got 1/3 of Jamaica's black children unemployed? 40% of black men in Jamaica unemployed. Black women unemployed. How you gonna let the Chinese bring their own labor from China? That is not Garveyism. Do you think you can go to China and open up a Jamaica highway? So why the hell they in Jamaica opening up a Beijing highway? There's only 1 or 2 answers to that. There's only 1 or 2 answers to that. Either somebody in the government is being paid by China or somebody in the government is scared of China. That's the only way this is going down. That's the only way this is going down. All these shops in Jamaica and we don't have an economic development program for the black Jamaican. That's unacceptable. Don't let nobody tell you because you can vote that make you free. Voting don't make you free. Land makes you free. Wealth makes you free. Resource make you free. Business make you free. Your brothers and sisters in America falling for the same nonsense Jamaica falling for. We got Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and you got black people running around America talking about who do we vote for, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. A devil is a damn devil whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. Who Who's going to win the presidency of the United States? Who's going to be the next president of the United States? I'll tell you who will be the next president of the United States. White supremacy will be the next president of the United States. Congratulations to the new prime minister. But brother, you got some work to do. Because there is a tendency when you study African revolution in the Caribbean and in Africa, there's a tendency for the revolutionary to become an oppressor once he overthrows the oppressor. So that means the PNP and the JLP have to make sure that they are not simply bargaining for a bigger master and make sure they're doing the work of the Jamaican people, because if they don't, you may have to rise up a third party to keep the first two parties honest about their obligation to you. Black bourgeoisieism is not going to save Jamaica. Black bourgeoisieism ain't going to save Black Africa. Looking out for your own petty, selfish, elitist interests. That's not Garveyism. You say Jamaica belongs to everybody in Jamaica? Is that true? Because the last time I checked, Black Jamaicans are 90% of Jamaica, but 90% of Jamaica's wealth belongs to the Arab and the white man and the East Indian. How in the hell is this a black country when the wealth of Jamaica is in the hands of non-African people? Look at all the resorts in Jamaica. How many of them owned by African people? So you get emancipation in 1834. You get independence in 62. It's been 54 years since independence. Where is the black people's share of the wealth of this island? I don't want no damn vote. I want land. I don't want no damn vote. Give me one of them hotels. I don't want no vote. Give me the damn banks. Until I got 90% of the banks, don't tell me this is my country. Until I own 90% of the resources, don't you tell me that this is my country. Jamaica, don't you fall for no flag and anthem independence. Don't feel that you equal because you can vote. Votes don't control money. Money controls the vote. And whoever controls the resources controls the politicians, whether they JLP or PNP. And if we celebrating Marcus Garvey, we got to give a special thank you to the Rastafari Nation for keeping Marcus Garvey a name alive. Naya Bingi, shout out. 12 Tribe, shout out. Bobo Shanti, Rastafari, EABIC. Marcus I, Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Brothers and sisters, I was in South Africa 3 weeks ago. I was in South Africa at the time of the election. And in South Africa, you know that the party of Nelson Mandela, the ANC, was in a tight contest with the Democratic Alliance, the white folks whose party go back to the days of apartheid. But there was a young brother in the ANC who had some good ideas, but the ANC didn't want to listen to the brother. So he split off and started his own party, the EFF, and it split the vote in South Africa, which meant that the ANC lost the capital city of South Africa, Pretoria, to the white folks. They lost Johannesburg to the white folks. Why? Not because of the brother, but the ANC grew so conservative. The ANC grew so interested in its own agenda that they forgot the agenda of the people, and the white folks ended up, through political engineering, taking away the power bases of the ANC. Jamaica, you got to work together The parties got to come together and evolve an ideal that's in the best interest of all Jamaican people. And don't tell me that the black middle class of Jamaica is getting bigger when the black underclass is getting faster and bigger than the black middle class. I don't care about a few Jamaican millionaires. What good is a few Jamaican millionaires when so many of our people live in poverty? And what is the plan to reduce the poverty? But the Chinese and the Arab and the East Indian and the white man can come to Jamaica, go to any bank in Jamaica and get a loan to open up a business in your neighborhood, and you can't even get a loan to open up a business in your own neighborhood. Why are we rolling out the red carpet for our enemies? You think the Chinese is doing this stuff for free? And then I heard the Chinese want to go on down to Goat Island and the little island, and they want to open up a canal and build a gigantic deep water tanker so the ships can come through and destroy the natural ecological system of the Goat Islands. And in the process, 15,000 Jamaican African brothers and sisters who depend on the fishing industry in the Goat Island will have their livelihood wiped away because the Chinese are more important than Jamaicans. Marcus Garvey said, we must have independent black political power. Black political power is not a black face. Black political power is black wealth. I heard y'all had a white minister of education. What the hell do you have a white minister of education in a black island? What the hell is going on in Jamaica? Can't no white man teach black children? And why can't the white man teach black children? Because the first thing the white man got to teach black children is that he is the devil. And you get quiet because you don't understand white supremacy. Even now, Jamaica, you don't understand white supremacy. Well, let me teach you the first rule of white supremacy. The first rule of white supremacy. The first rule is what? All white people are racist. The one you sleeping with, the one you married to, the one you working with, the one you hanging out, all white people are racist. Every last one of them. Well, Dr. Umar, I don't agree with you because I have a good white friend. And my white friends look out for me. Your white friend might be good to you, but that is a personal relationship between you and that white friend. But what you fail to realize is that white friend has a political obligation to all white people to make sure they stay in charge. White people don't share power with black people. White people don't share power with black people. White people don't share power with black people, and neither do the Chinese. Marcus Garvey taught that the black man should be with the black woman only. I said Marcus Garvey taught that the black man should be with the black woman. But some of you fake ass Garveyites out here is dating women who not African with your fake ass. You fake ass. You ain't no real black man if you ain't got no black woman. Running around with the Chinese woman, running around with the white woman, running around with the damn Greek woman. Your ass don't even speak Greek. What the hell you doing? Sit your ass down. The black man belongs with the black woman, and if the black man ain't with the black woman, the black man ain't a black man. You couldn't date the white woman in slavery. You couldn't date the white woman back in the 40s and 50s. So what you dating the white woman now for? It was the black woman who saved your ass from them lynchings. It was the black woman who nursed those wombs. It was the black woman who raised those babies. It was the black woman who cooked that damn food. You want a white woman. What the hell you want the white woman for? She ain't cute. She ain't got no shape. And her food don't taste good because it ain't got no jerk seasoning in it. Do you understand? If the black woman ain't cooking, ain't nobody cooking for us. You say you went to the universities, and because you went to school in London, or you went to school in the United States, or you went to school in Kingston, you say you were surrounded by white women because you was working on your doctorate degree and you couldn't help fall in love with the white woman because all you saw was white women. Well, guess what? I have a doctorate degree too. I got 6 damn degrees, and I was surrounded by white women too, but I wasn't interested because I love black women too goddamn much. And the only reason why you dating them white women is because you wish you was white your damn self. How was a black man? Jamaica, make some noise! Brothers and sisters, Marcus Garvey said that your God that you worship better look like you. Marcus Garvey said, if you don't see divinity in yourself, you can't see it in nobody else. But if I walk through the homes in Jamaica, I'm willing to bet that some of you still have a picture of a white Jesus on your wall. I'm willing to bet some of you still got a white Last Supper on your wall. I'm willing to bet some of you fake ass Pan-Africanists still worshiping your deity in the image of your enemy. Pastor asked me the other day, he said, Dr. Umar, what difference does the color of God make? Well, if the color of God don't make no difference, why did the white man spend 1,000 years getting rid of every black image of Christ that he could find? If color doesn't matter, why does the white man surround his children with images of himself? If color doesn't matter, why did our ancestors in Nile Valley culture and ancient Kemet build colossal statues of their own image? Color does matter. And as a psychologist, I need you to know that every information bit that is stored in your mind is stored as an image, an archetype, a picture. All cerebral information, all neurological data is encoded in your long-term memory as an archetypical image. So if you take your son or daughter to Sunday school in Kingston, a Sunday school in Mobile, a Sunday school in St. Anne, Sunday school in Ocho, and they see a white image of Jesus every Sunday, and they pray to the white image of Jesus every Sunday, you are programming the subconscious of your children to worship all white people, not just white Jesus. And if your child grows up with the image of God as white, it's okay for the minister of education to be white. It's okay for the president to be white. It's okay for the police and all the businesses in Jamaica to be owned by white. Because if God is white, then maybe God put the white man in charge. And that's why when you go home today, Jamaica, you got a homework assignment from Dr. Umat Johnson. Go home and burn every last one of them cracker-ass Jesuses, and burn every white Mary, and burn the Last Supper. And if you can't find a black one, you get one of these brother artists in Jamaica to paint you a black Jesus. Paint him like the Rasta with the locks. Paint him with blue, black, purple skin. Paint him with the melanin. Paint him with the image of God. People ask me, they say, Dr. Umar, why do white folks hate black folks? Why do Chinese hate black folks? Why do Arabs hate black folks? Why do European Jews hate black folks? Why does everyone in the world have a problem with you even though you at the bottom? Let me explain to you why nobody likes your ass. Number one, your historical accomplishments. The white man know what you've done. He know you built the world's greatest civilizations. You mastered every science. You invented spirituality. And you did it before he came out of the cave. So the white man is jealous and insecure because he know what the black man has done. The black man can do again. And that's why he hates you. What's the second reason why he hates you? 2 days ago, Usain Bolt, who celebrates his birthday today, as do I, August the 21st. It's my birthday, Jamaica, so I'm going to show out. They hate the fact that that black man could walk on a track and without even putting his full energy into it, break every record they got and win every gold medal that's up for the taking. They hate the fact that a LeBron James, they hate the fact that a Tiger Woods, they hate the fact that a Serena or Venus, they see what you can do on the football field. And the white man knows if he did not control your opportunity, you would do it in the bank, you would do it in the building, you would do it in government. So he has to disadvantage you because he knows that you have the DNA of God within your veins. And he knows that if you don't do something to disadvantage the DNA of God, the DNA of God will rise to the top like cream. You are the cream of the crop. You are God's first man and God's first woman. Which brings me to the third reason why the white man and Chinese man can't stand your black ass. And this is the most important reason. I want you to listen up. People say, why do they keep on oppressing black folks? In America, why they got to kill Michael Brown? Why they got to kill Trayvon Martin? Why they had to kill Sandra Bland? Why they had to do it to Alton Sterling? Why they had to take out Eric Garner? You know why? Because white supremacy is not about oppression. White supremacy is about extermination. Let me ask you a question. When black men were hung in Jamaica, when black men were hung in America, most of the time when they hanged a black man, they removed his reproductive organ from his body. He was castrated. Now in America, they hung Jews and they hung Irish and they hung Italians because Jews, Irish, and Italians were not considered white until 1940. But they never castrated the whites. But they always castrated the blacks. Why did they castrate the black man but never castrate the white man when they hung him? This is the number one reason for white supremacy. This is the number one reason for Chinese supremacy. This is the number one reason for Arab supremacy. Listen to me, black man. Listen to me. You might have nothing. You might be homeless. You might be broke. You might be hungry. You might be down on your luck. But you can walk into a room with a billionaire Italian. You can walk into the room with a billionaire East Indian. You can walk into the room with a billionaire Arab or a multi-million-dollar white man. But when you walk into the room, you are the only one who walks into the room with the genetic ability to remove everybody in the room through reproduction. Everything the black man touches becomes African. Everything put in the womb of a black woman produces an African child. They hate you because you can reproduce yourself in them, but they cannot reproduce themselves in you. In America, we had 8 years of Barack Obama. 8 years of Barack Obama, who did nothing for black people, not a damn thing. He went out of his way for white women. He went out of his way for Latinos. He went out of his way for illegal immigrants. He went out of his way for the LGBT community. But when Trayvon was murdered, he ain't do a damn thing. When Michael Brown was murdered, he ain't do a damn thing. When Sandra Bland was executed, he ain't do a damn thing. And I'm one of the only scholars in America. When Obama ran for office, I said that by the time he gets out of office, black people will be almost back in slavery. And how did I know? I know because I know that Obama was financed by white money. And I also know that many of your Jamaican elected officials are financed on white money. And I know in South Africa, most of the black politicians are financed in white money. And as long as you're financed with the white man's money, you can never carry out a black man's agenda. Jamaica, if you want your black politicians to be honest, you have to keep them honest. You know what that means? At the next election, you got to have enough money to give them to win the election. You can't let them go to the Jews of Jamaica. You can't let them go to the Chinese. Because if they get their campaign finance money from the Chinese, they got to carry out a Chinese agenda. If they get their money from London, they got to carry out London's agenda. Yeah, you voted. You voted. You voted, but voting is not enough. You got to finance and vote. Until you finance your own politicians, they will always sell your ass out. That's the law of politics. He who pays is he who rules. Now I heard in Jamaica that we got some overcrowding in the public schools. I heard the schools in Jamaica ain't looking too good. We got to do something about that. I hear your prime minister used to be minister of education. So he should know exactly what to do. First thing he got to do in the schools is he got to build some new ones so it ain't so many students in the classroom. A teacher can't teach if she got 50 kids to one teacher. That's impossible. It should be no more than 25 to 1. But y'all have to force that issue. The leadership ain't going to do it. Because they kids go to the private schools. They kids go to the private. Your kids is in the township and you got to make them do right by your babies. Listen, even if Jamaica needs Chinese expertise today, they should not need Chinese expertise in 20 years because you should be educating your own children to replace your dependency on Chinese labor and technology. Where is the school in Jamaica that teaches hydroponics? Where is the school in Jamaica that teaches our children solar energy? Where is the school in Jamaica that teaches advanced agriculture? Where is the school in Jamaica that teaches military science? Where is the school in Jamaica that produces the plumbers and the electricians and the carpenters and the computer networkers? The education has to be a functional education that allows our children to create their own business after they finish school. If the education is not a functional education, it is a slave education that prepares your children to go work for the Chinese after they graduate. Go work for the Arab after they graduate. Go work for the East Indian after they graduate. That's no education at all. Education for the black Jamaican child. Education for the black Jamaican child. Education for the black Jamaican child cannot be an education that teaches them to work. It must be an education that teaches them how to take, acquire, protect, expand, and maintain black supremacy in Jamaica. If the education does not teach black supremacy, then the education is useless. Jamaica, don't you fall for multiculturalism. Multiculturalism wants you to say that Jamaica belongs to everybody in Jamaica. That's what the South Africans said in 1994. They said everybody in South Africa is a South African. Only problem with that is no black South Africans own any of the diamond mines. They don't own any of the gold mines. They don't own any of the material deposits, and neither are you. I also heard that there's a movement to eliminate the Jamaican patois native dialect from the children's tongues in public schools. Let me talk about that for a minute. Have anybody ever heard of Willie Lynch before? Have you heard of Willie Lynch? Let me tell you what Willie Lynch did. Slave master who came to teach other slave masters how to control their slaves. The first thing Willie Lynch said, he said, don't let your slaves speak their own native tongue. Don't let your slaves communicate in their own native language. Because Willie Lynch said, as long as they speak their own language, they will never belong to you. Because language reminds the people that they were somebody before you found them. But guess what? Many of the islands didn't listen. In Jamaica during slavery, you still couldn't get an education. In the United States, the 13 states didn't let black slaves get an education. So that means your patois has survived over 150 years, and you still speak it today, and you should continue to speak it. And I need you to understand that Jamaican patois is not broken English. Jamaican patois is a descendant of West African Niger-Congo dialect. Bougie Negroes say, I don't believe that. Our kids need to speak standard English. They can't get a job speaking patois. Well, I don't want the Jamaican children to get a damn job. I want them to own the damn business. And when you own the business, you can talk any kind of way you want to. In South Africa, they have made the Chinese language of Mandarin an official language in South Africa. Jamaica, I need y'all to be careful. Because if y'all keep on letting y'all government let the Chinese come in and buy up your whole damn island, they're going to make Chinese a new language in Jamaica. Mark my words. Mark my words. Just like in South Africa, if it can happen in South Africa, it can happen in Jamaica. You must resist it. Now, for those of you who think Jamaican patois is broken English, let me explain to you that there's differences between African languages and white languages. In white language, many of the words end in a consonant. African language, many of the words end with a vowel. So when white people talk, they will say, we are getting ready to have supper with the Thompsons tonight. Black people don't talk like that. You said me get this up there ready to eat, man. The difference is your words run together like one. Because African culture is a rhythmic culture, and we talk within the rhythm of the universe. And so there are no breakings between African words, because we are a people who are without limitation. That's why when the music sounds, black people start dancing. That's why when the music sounds, you catch a little beat and you can't help yourself, because you are part and parcel to the rhythmic dance of the universe. What's another difference between the white man language and the black man language? The white man language emphasizes communication of the point. After the white man talks, he says, did you understand what I said? Did you hear what I mean? Did what I just say make any sense? That's the white man. The black man don't really care about what you say. The black man is only concerned with what you meant. And so when black people communicate, we're not listening to the message. We're listening to the vibration with which you gave the message, because we know you can say one thing with your damn mouth and something else with your spirit. Jamaica, make some noise! The other difference between white language and black language: when white people talk, only one white person is allowed to talk at a time. One white man talks, everybody else listens. Well, there's a time for that in African culture. There's a time for that in Jamaican culture. But most of the time, our culture is based on collective participation. So if Dr. Umar is speaking and my brother can feel what I mean, my brother might jump in and finish my sentence, because we are on the same vibration. Do you understand me, Jamaica? The Jamaican child is not a black child painted white. Don't you fall for that. As I prepare to bring this to a close, Marcus Garvey said, Africa is for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. Marcus Garvey, as all Pan-Africanists, we believe in repatriation. We believe that the international homeland for African people must be Africa. Not the Caribbean, not Central America, not South America, not the United States, but Africa. Why? Not only is it our ancestral homeland, Africa is the most minerally rich piece of land on the face of the earth. Why would you give that up? Never relinquish your birthright. Never relinquish your birthright. Now, some of you think Marcus Garvey wanted everybody to go back to Africa. That is not true. Marcus Garvey never said everybody should go back to Africa. His Excellency, the provisional prophet and king of Pan-Africanism, said, quote, some of you Negroes are no good in Jamaica, and you will likewise be no good in Africa. So you can stay your ass in Jamaica. We only want those who identify as African, who know they are African, to go back to Africa and help build Africa up. And why must we build up Africa? Because the Jamaican struggle is a part of the African struggle. The Black American struggle is part of the African struggle. The Nigerian struggle is not just an African thing, it's an international Pan-African thing. Marcus Garvey said, a strong man is strong everywhere. Why don't Chinese kids get killed by police? Why don't Indian children get killed by police? Why don't white children get killed by police? Because Chinese have China, and East Indians have India, and European Jews has Israel, and the British have the United Kingdom, and the Americans have the United States. And you have no country, Jamaica, that can speak out for Jamaica when Jamaica is in trouble. So we have to build up Africa, so Africa is strong enough to build us up. We all know that if you don't take care of your mother, there is no good luck for the children. Brothers and sisters, next summer, I'm going to be leading a repatriation task force to Africa. Some of you might want to go with me. We're going to go to East Africa for 3 months. And then we're going to go to West Africa for 3 months. You can do one or the other, or you can do both. And when we get to that country in Africa, we're going to investigate it. We're going to investigate the economy, investigate the agriculture, investigate the education, investigate the healthcare, investigate the religion, investigate the governance, investigate the import-export. And we're going to produce a feasibility report that helps Africans around the world who want to go back home. We will give them the guide map to help them go back to Africa and go to the country that is most suited for the skill that they want to offer. Brothers and sisters, Garvey is moving in the whirlwind. Marcus Garvey is with us right now. If you want to go with Dr. Umat Johnson, make sure you stay connected with me. My website is drumatjohnson.com. DRUMAR Johnson.com. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, you can follow me at Dr. Umat Johnson. DRUMAR Johnson. On Facebook, I use my Yoruba last name because, as Professor Smalls so eloquently covered today, I study the African spiritual system of the Yoruba practiced by our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. So on Facebook, you can find me under Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Ifatunde is spelled I-F-A-T-U-N-D-E. Dr. Umar Ifatunde on Facebook. You can also add me on WhatsApp. If you need to call me, you can reach me at 8444 Dr. Umar. That's 8444 DRUMAR is the phone number. Email address, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com. DRUMAR Johnson@yahoo. But let me say this. If you want to go to Africa with me, there's 2 requirements that you must fulfill. Actually 3. My first one is for my sisters. When we go to Africa, we will be going as God made us look naturally when we was born out of our mother's wombs. So you cannot come with a weave. You cannot come with a perm. You cannot come with blonde hair. You cannot come with the straightening comb. You cannot come with a Jerry curl, S curl, or any other type of curl. You must be 100% happy to be nappy if you're going back to Africa with you. Jamaica, make some noise! Let me say that I'm not picking on my sisters either. I know why my sister's hair is processed. I know why she has a wig and a weave. And it's the black man's fault. The reason the black woman wants to look like a white woman because all you want to date is something that looks like a white woman. If the black man would only love the black woman's natural hair, she would go natural tomorrow, my brothers. So the obligation is on the black man to love the black woman as an original queen and stop trying to make her look like Beyonce. Repatriation. You cannot, you must not, you shall not go with Dr. Umar to Africa if you are married to, dating, cohabitating, sleeping with, or engaged to any alien races whatsoever. Your husband must be you. Your wife must look like you. Your grandmother better look like you. We have to stop mixing up our melanated seed with people who don't deserve it. Melanin is like black gold. Why the hell you giving it away for free? And I humbly submit to you that if you go into Africa with Dr. Umar Johnson and the 2017 Repatriation Task Force, you have a right to live your life how you want to live it. And I love all black people no matter how you want to live. But if you come in with me, we building a new African society. So there will be no toleration, absolutely no toleration for a feminization of the black male. We don't get down with that. We don't get down with that. Black man, black woman, that's African. We don't get down with that. When God created the universe, God erected a feminine principle and God erected a masculine principle. God put up the yin, God put up the yang. God put up the plus, God put up the minus. God gave us the water, and then God gave us the land. God gave us the sun, and then God gave us the woman, the moon. God gave us the black woman. God gave us the black man. Who in the hell told you to put two women together or two men together? And don't misquote me. I love all my brothers and sisters, but I have a right not to agree with your lifestyle if I don't think it's in the best interest of African people. Look at all the Jamaican women who are single without a husband. Make some noise. Where my single women at with no husband? How the hell we got time for men to be marrying men when we got sisters who don't even have husbands? And then the white man says that the black struggle is the same as the gay struggle. The white man says the homosexual agenda is the same as the Pan-African agenda. No. Let's be clear. The African man and woman are not fighting to have sex. You're fighting for survival. The black man is not fighting to be another man's woman. The black man is fighting to be a man to his woman. Don't confuse us. Like I said, live your life how you want. I wish you no harm. But in the new Africa, in the future United States of Africa, there will be no toleration for any type of behavior that works against the best interests of our people. But let me tell you what America did and London did to the Caribbean islands, and they did it to Africa. When you got your independence in 1962, they sent white men in with briefcases known as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. And they came to Jamaica and they sat down with your politicians. And the politicians said, we need money. We got to build schools. We need money. We got to build hospitals. We need money. We got to build infrastructure. And the white man said, sure, I'm going to give you $10 million to start and another $3 million every year. But you got to do three things in order to keep this money. First thing you got to do is accept the interest rate we're going to put on the loan. We're going to put a 100% interest rate on the loan. So the more money you borrow from the white man, the more you in debt to the white man. Second thing he said is we're going to give you some structural adjustment programs. That means in Jamaica, y'all have sugar cane. In Jamaica, what else Jamaica makes? Give me the natural resource. Bauxite, what else? Coffee. Let's take coffee and sugar. Jamaica says, well, I have my own coffee. I have my own sugar. I don't want any coffee and sugar from Europe or America. We're going to protect coffee and sugar. This way we can give jobs to our people. We can keep the economy going. We have our own coffee and sugar. But the white man said, no. if you want this $10 million, you have to do what? Open up your coffee market. Open up your sugar market. And so now the sugar companies of America, Domino Sugar, and the coffee companies and tea companies, Tetley and Nestle, can come into Jamaica, compete with the native industry. And because they can make it faster, and because they can sell it cheaper, and because they can produce it sooner, they sabotage Jamaica's own coffee and sugar industry. And so now in Jamaica, your sugar don't even come from Jamaica. Your sugar coming from thousands of miles away where you can grow sugar right here. I need y'all. Tell your leadership. Tell the new prime minister we don't want no more loans. No more loans for Jamaica. Because the loans is killing Jamaica. And then they say, I give you this loan, you got to let the Chinese come in. You got to let the Arabs come in. You got to let the Lebanese come in. And the Jews come in. And for one little dirty loan, you sell off your whole island in the name of foreign aid. Foreign aid has made Jamaica a foreign slave. Give the aid back. You don't need it. And what's the third thing? The third thing? Population control. When I ride through Jamaica, I see signs for abortion. Y'all have Planned Parenthood in Jamaica. Y'all have abortion centers in Jamaica paying black women to get a full hysterectomy removal of their reproductives. This is part of the World Bank population control. And some of y'all love Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is a big-time population control. Bill Gates is a big-time population control. This is why America is telling Jamaica right now, you have to legalize homosexuality. Obama said if you don't legalize homosexuality, we're going to cut off your loan money. Obama went to Uganda. Obama went to Liberia and said, y'all got to let the homosexuals get married or we're going to take your money away from you. And then they drop AIDS off in Africa. And they drop AIDS off in Jamaica. You ain't getting AIDS from sex. You getting AIDS from them immunizations that the World Health Organization is giving to Jamaica. So I'm telling you right now, Jamaica, stop taking the shots. Stop giving your children the shots. That flu vaccination ain't nothing but AIDS. Swine flu ain't nothing but cancer. Why would the people who are trying to get rid of you help you live longer? Y'all have autism in Jamaica now too, don't you? Autistic children. 40 years ago, you couldn't find a black autistic child. Why are there autistic children in Jamaica? I know, because I'm a psychologist. It's the shots. Stop giving the babies the shots. It messes up the brain development and they end up becoming autistic. Do y'all know where AIDS came from? AIDS was created by the United States Army Biological Weapons Lab in Fort Detrick, Maryland, with a grant from the Rockefeller World Population Council. This is where AIDS come from. They took that AIDS and they put it all over the African world, but they gave it through shots. Come get this shot. And they infected you with AIDS. And now South Africa has a high AIDS population. I heard y'all got a high AIDS population. Stop taking the shots that the white man gives you. Understand white supremacy, or white supremacy will kill you. Next announcement as I bring this to a close. I'm working on building a school. The Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy. And we're going to put these schools all over the African world. We're going to teach agricultural science. We're going to teach financial science. Do you know why we're going to teach financial science? Because in Jamaica, after your kids graduate from high school, they want all the Jamaican kids to go to college, don't they? Run to the university. Run to the university and get a degree. And so you run to the Jamaican university and you get a degree. Associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate degree. And after you get your degree, you can't even find a damn job to pay back the student loans. What good is the damn degree if you can't find work? Top 1% richest people in the world never had a job. Top 1% richest people in the world never had a job. So at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, we're going to teach them real estate. We're going to teach them mineral investment. We're going to teach them tax preparation. We're going to teach them stocks and trades on the international market. I want to teach your sons and daughters that you ain't got to go to college to get rich. If you want to go to college, we will help you. But black people have to stop being exploited by higher education because it's putting you in student loan debt. And then we're going to teach African spirituality. We got to teach African spirituality. African spirituality is that voodoo, it's that Ifa, it's that Palo, it's that Lukumi, it's that Rastafari. It's that Nation of Islam. It's that Moorish science. It's that Hebrew faith. African spirituality. Our ancestors taught that there was a God. One God. Sometimes we call that God Mother. Sometimes we call that God Father. God is not he or she. God is the creator of the feminine masculine principle. So if my wife is pregnant, and my wife is about to give birth to our child, I'm going to call on God the mother, because men don't have babies. And if I got to go to war to defend Jamaica from the Chinese invasion, I'm going to call on God the father, because it is women who go to war. But when you go to church, God is always masculine and God ain't never feminine. How can you be a black woman and never called on the great divine mother to come and help you achieve your destiny? In African culture, our ancestors are our angels. Our ancestors are our angels. Not the angels from the Bible, the naked little white boys with wings on their back. But your great-grandma, your great-grandpa, your little cousin who died, Aunt Sarah, Uncle Benny. Those are the angels that you should call on, because in our culture, the ancestors are the angels. And we're going to teach military science. Yes, we're going to teach military science, because tomorrow not promised. And I'm not a fool, and neither are you. And you and I know that the next great world revolution, World War III, will be a struggle for all African people to rise up at once together. We never did it yet. Y'all got the rise in Jamaica with Cuba, and Cuba got the rise with Suriname, and Suriname got the rise with Black Canada. Black Canada got the rise with Black Africa. Black Africa got the rise with the Black UK. The next revolution will be a global African revolution to take back what God gave us. My last announcement, and I got to stop so we can move on. I host a black boy and girl college tour every year. If you have a son or daughter between the age of 11 and 17, you can send them to the United States to go on the black boy and girl college tour. First 2 weeks in July. Last year, we took our students to Cheney and Lincoln, Howard and Morgan. These are all historically black colleges in America. But we also took them to the Harriet Tubman grave site. And we took them to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum. And we took them to the Frederick Douglass home in the Nat Turner estate, because on August the 21st, this day, 1831, Nat Turner led the bloodiest slave revolt in American history. On this day, 1971, George Jackson of the Black Liberation Army, August the 21st, met his death breaking out of the prisons of California. On this day, 1791, August the 21st, the Haitian Revolution was born. So if you have a child and you want to send them with Dr. Umar for 2 weeks, you can do that. There is a cost associated with it. I don't make any money off the tour. I don't do it for money. It's about activism, not capitalism, the struggle, not the hustle. But we got to cover the transportation. We got to cover the hotels. The children loved it last year. In fact, some of them just text me happy birthday today. So if you got a son or daughter who needs to be with me for 2 weeks to get that Pan-African experience from the American side, please send them. Some of you got children in the street. Some of you got kids not doing the right thing. And the next time I come to Jamaica, I want a whole audience full of children. Let me talk to the babies one time. Let Dr. Umar talk to the babies one time. But in conclusion, I'll leave you with a quote. My ancestor, Frederick Douglass. My family was brought to America in 1701. Stolen from West Africa and sold into Maryland. Father Bailey was his name. He married Grandmom Selah, for whom my 5-year-old daughter is named. They had Grandmom Jenny. In 1774, Grandmom Jenny gave birth to Grandma Betsy 2 years before Thomas Jefferson's Declaration of Independence. Grandma Betsy married a free black man, Grandpa Isaac. They had about 12 children. One daughter was named Young Betsy. Another daughter was named Harriet. These two sisters was raped by Aaron Anthony, the white man who owned my family. As a result of the rape, Aunt Harriet, in February of 1818, gave birth to the greatest black leader in American history, Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. For those of you who know your Marcus Garvey history, you know that Marcus Garvey named the first Black Star Line steamship the SS Frederick Douglass. What, a year after Aunt Harriet was raped, her little sister was raped. Frederick's half-brother and first cousin was born. His name is Stephen Henry Bailey. If you read Frederick's autobiographies, he talks about Cousin Stephen. Well, Cousin Stephen is Dr. Umar's 4 times great-grandfather. He wasn't as lucky as Frederick. When Frederick ran away at the age of 20 and escaped to freedom, Grandpa Stephen wasn't as lucky. Grandpa Stephen married a black woman who was enslaved on the same plantation, Grandmom Caroline. Their firstborn son was George Washington Bailey, my 3 times great-grandfather, first black public school teacher in Talbot County, Maryland. He married Grandma Annie. And after him and Grandpa Stephen fought in the Civil War, him and Grandma Annie had Grandma Caroline, who moved to Philadelphia. And she had Grandma Vivian. And then Grandma Vivian married a Spanish-speaking Cuban immigrant from Cuba, my Grandpa Cicero, who used to work in Jamaica. And they had Grandma Ida, who married James, and they had Jamal, who married Barbara. And on August the 21st, Dr. Umar Johnson was born in North Philadelphia. Frederick said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess the faith of freedom and deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want the rain, but they scared of the thunder and the lightning. They want the ocean, but they don't want to deal with the awful roar of its waters. He said this struggle we have as African people might be a moral struggle, or it might be a physical struggle, or it might be both a moral and physical struggle, but it must be a struggle. He said power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Frederick said, for 20 years I prayed on my knees to God for freedom. For 20 years I prayed on my knees to God for freedom. For 20 years I prayed on my knees. But the good Lord gave me no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. Frederick said, if you want respect from white people, stop looking for pity. The man who pities you will never respect you. The man who respects you will never pity you. But most of all, he said power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. His Excellency, the Provisional President of Africa, the most eminent prophet and king of Pan-Africanism, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, without confidence in yourself, Jamaica, without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. Garvey said, God never intended us to be a race without a country of its own. And we are not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. But most of all, as I leave you, Mr. Garvey was once asked, are you an African or are you a Jamaican? Are you an African or are you a Jamaican? Are you an African or are you a Jamaican? And in response to that, the only black man to organize 15 million. In response to that, the black man who gave us this flag. In response to that, the only black man to organize black people without using a religion. In response to that, the only major black leader to never take a penny from an Arab, an Indian, a white man, or any other man said, you ask me, am I an African or am I Jamaican? And I answer you by saying, I would never, ever, ever, ever give up a continent for an island. I am an African yesterday, today, and for all times. Jamaica, make some noise! One love. Black supremacy.